Happy hump day, members of the altcoin buzz army. Yes, the market is down a little bit today, but don't despair. Although we're seeing some red, we have many reasons to be optimistic. I just asked you guys in the community section of our YouTube page whether or not you think the peak of the bull market is in. Right now, about 3/4 of you are suggesting no, not even close. Go ahead and vote if you haven't already. We're going to be taking a look at some of the high-level macro indicators that suggest Bitcoin and by extension crypto and the rest of the altcoin space are still very much in good shape. We're also going to be taking a look at all kinds of altcoin updates today, including Fuse Network, Injective Protocol, EasyFi, eMoney, Dafi, COTI. Then we're going to be discussing some pretty high-level consortiums and some councils that have been formed between Fidelity Investments, between Square. We're looking at the proliferation of NFTs, non-fungible tokens, and the fact that Coinbase has just released some of their first quarter revenue numbers. They are off the charts. They are fantastic metrics by any standard. Guys, if you like this kind of content, Bitcoin, blockchain, cryptocurrency, and altcoins, then be sure to like and subscribe to Altcoin Buzz. Plan B here on Twitter at 100 trillion USD. Bitcoin has been stuck at around $55,000 since February 19th. Point of reference, it's at about 56.5K at the time of this recording. Continuing, I guess we need some consolidation around this magical number. Weak hands giving their coins to strong hands. Long-term trend, however, i.e. the 200-week moving average, does not care. It continues to go up every day. And here we have Bitcoin Archive, which suggests that BTC is just getting started. See for yourself. If you haven't seen this chart or similar charts, we're suggesting that you can kind of look at Bitcoin from a macro perspective as consisting of epochs. You have Epoch 1 here from its inception to about 2013, Epoch 2, 2013 to 2016, halfway through that year, and then 2016 summer to just about spring of 2020 or so. We're now in Epoch 4, and all of this is based on halvings. We're now between the third and the fourth halving. Taking a look historically, the pattern suggests that each epoch is 20 times larger in terms of its peak than the peak of the prior or the previous epoch. So if we hit 20,000 in Epoch 3, historical data would suggest that we'll go 20 times higher, i.e. $400,000 per Bitcoin at the height of this fourth epoch, between the third and the fourth halving. This pretty much goes right in line with some of the mainstream, like banking predictions and projections that we have out of JP Morgan, out of Guggenheim, out of Citibank. Not JP Morgan, actually. They suggested 130K per Bitcoin at the peak of this bull cycle. But Guggenheim, don't forget, they said 600,000, and Citibank suggested a number north of 300,000. So I personally am not going to be relying on this to a T. I think you have to be flexible, and we'll see how things look once we break six figures and all that sort of stuff. I don't think this is to be taken as some kind of religious scripture or anything too scientific, because things change. You have to be dynamic and flexible. But I think it's a good indication that no, we're not anywhere near the top of the cycle. Let's kick off with some of the altcoin news today. Fuse Network is now bridged to Binance Smart Chain, BSC. True to our commitment to interoperability, this development complements an existing Ethereum bridge via a friendly user interface. You can check out the press release here. You can also link to the bridge with the URL that's included there in the tweet on prnewswire.com. Fuse Network opens a bridge to Binance Smart Chain to boost blockchain interoperability and mitigate high fees on Ethereum, which of course are a problem right now. Injective Protocol, they're joining forces with Persistence One to unlock new opportunities in DeFi. We plan to support Persistence native assets on our decentralized exchange alongside new forms of liquid staked derivatives across various POS proof of stake chains. More on that here on blog.injectiveprotocol.com. Injective and Persistence join forces to unlock new opportunities in DeFi. Then we have this news out of EasyFi network. So they're excited to announce their partnership with Mirror Protocol to institute a new range of tokenized stocks and commodities money markets on our layer 2 DeFi lending protocol on Binance Smart Chain. A lot of Binance Smart Chain news as of late. Hashtag do more with DeFi. With this collaboration, EasyFi network becomes the first layer 2 DeFi lending protocol to offer loans against tokenized stocks and commodity positions on our money markets on Binance Smart Chain. All of these markets will be enabled on EasyFi in due course. More on that here on Medium.com. Mirror Protocol joins EasyFi ecosystem to bring tokenized stocks and commodities money markets on Binance Smart Chain. eMoney here is in the news. At eMoney_com is the Twitter handle. eMoney Ethereum bridge is live, enabling two-way transfers between eMoney and Ethereum. Hashtag interoperability. More on that is available here. eMoney Ethereum bridge is here, again, enabling two-way transfers between eMoney and Ethereum. Next up, we have Dafi protocol, which is in the news. They're excited to announce their partnership with Odds to integrate Dafi's D tokens in their network. This collaboration will also allow for Odds Finance to reward their network for staking with synthetics instead. If you haven't checked out our video on Dafi from, I guess, a couple weeks ago now, maybe 2-3 weeks ago, do be sure to check that out. The card should be popping up right about now. I'll also include the link in the description below. COTI, at COTI Network, COTI, is in the news. They are honored and excited to share that C-Fund, the Cardano Ecosystem Venture Fund, just announced its first VC venture capital investment in COTI. Wow, that's a mark of distinction for sure. The equity-based investment will deepen the cooperation between COTI and Cardano Stiftung. Read more about it here on cotinetwork.medium.com. C-Fund, the Cardano Ecosystem Venture Fund, announces its first venture capital investment in COTI. Shifting a little bit now to the macro perspective, we have a few stories that suggest to me we are nowhere near the top of this market cycle. We're beginning here on blockworks.co with a look at what Fidelity Investments and Square are getting up to. In essence, they've partnered with other major companies and formed a global council of sorts, which is seeking to change the way digital assets are understood and regulated. That's according to this right up here. A global council sounds kind of ominous, actually. Here's a quote. "We know that crypto holds immense promise for spurring economic growth and creating jobs, improving financial inclusion and access, and enhancing privacy and security. And that promise transcends borders," said Gus Coldabella, Chief Policy Officer at Paradigm and one of the organizers of CCI. CCI is the Crypto Council for Innovation. This was launched yesterday, and it's going to lobby lawmakers and develop resources to help both industries and investors better understand the elusive world of crypto. Exchange Coinbase and investment firm Paradigm are also council members. So in Tuesday's press release, he also said, quote, "That is why we will help policymakers, regulators, and individuals anywhere in the world understand the benefits of crypto." They also mentioned that CCI's mission is, quote, "to demonstrate the transformational promise of crypto and communicate its benefits to policymakers, regulators, and people around the globe." I don't know how to feel about this. I'm not a big fan of lobbyists of any kind. And if this is ultimately just, the CCI Council, if it's just a lobbying group, I don't know. I don't think that cryptocurrency or altcoins necessarily need a cheerleader to to shout from the rooftops all the benefits in a corporate sense of, their infrastructure and their advantages. To me, it's kind of, look, get on board if you like it, but if you don't, you're going to be left behind. So it's your choice. The idea of lobbying and large institutions and how this is going to interact with governments, I don't know. I'm neither kind of optimistic nor am I pessimistic at this time, but let's keep an eye on this one. Fidelity, certainly a massive player when it comes to this council. And Coinbase is also involved. They are a massive player as well. They just released this press release. So we're on investor.coinbase.com. They announced their Q1 2021 estimated results and a full year of outlook for the rest of 2021. Some pretty unbelievable figures right here. So the highlight is that they hit a record $1.8 billion in revenue ahead of their filing that's coming up with the NASDAQ with their IPO, their initial public offering. Just Q1 revenue of $1.8 billion. In excess of $300 billion of trading volume, net income of $730 million, perhaps as much as $800 million, adjusted EBITDA of approximately $1.1 billion. Without context, those numbers may not mean a whole lot, but let's add some perspective here. So Nathaniel Whittemore on Twitter at NLW. Coinbase has more than 4 times the number of users of Robinhood. They did more revenue in the first quarter of Q1 than in all of 2020. So that 1.8 billion, that's more than they made in all of 2020. And they're profitable to the tune of 730 to 800 million dollars. Wall Street is absolutely about to blow a gasket. And you're telling me that, well, not you guys, but some are suggesting that, no, Bitcoin can't cross 60K. We're at the top of this bull market. We're only just getting started, guys, and these statistics back up that sentiment. Ellie Frost here, also analyzing, observing Coinbase revenue for all of 2020, 1.3 billion. Coinbase revenue in Q1 of 2020, $1.8 billion. That number alone speaks for itself. Anthony Pompliano here, breaking. Coinbase just reported 56 million users. Again, that's over 4 times the number of users that are on Robinhood. That's an astounding, that to me is more impressive than anything. That's more impressive than profit. That's more impressive than 1.8 billion in revenue, 56 million users. Wow. $335 billion in trading volume and 1.8 billion in revenue for Q1. What an absolute beast of a company. And you also have to take into consideration the fact that the entire ecosystem beyond just Coinbase is growing very significantly here on Cointelegraph.com. After breaking $100 billion TVL, total value locked, DeFi is now the equivalent of a top 40 US bank, DeFi alone. No CEO, no centralized business tower with a board of directors. Nothing like that. No executives. DeFi alone is equivalent to a top 40 US bank. Unbelievable. You can read more about this here. It's a long road to the number 1 spot, but some ecosystem players think we'll get there eventually. I think we'll get there pretty soon. Now, I don't know where this 100, actually, I spoke too soon. I do know where the $100 billion is coming from. According to Wikipedia, as $100 billion TVL in DeFi is now the equivalent of the 40th largest bank, okay? But the number itself is coming from finance ecosystem tracker DeFi Llama that announced on Tuesday, so yesterday, that the DeFi ecosystem breached $100 billion in total value for the first time, rising 7% from $94.7 billion on Monday, apparently. But, my reference has always been DeFi Pulse, and maybe DeFi Pulse just aggregates the data a little bit more conservatively. But according to that website, which personally is my go-to, we're at 50 billion, just over 50 billion total value locked TVL for all of DeFi. Maybe it's measured a little bit differently. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, but safe to say we're somewhere between 50 billion and 100 billion. We're certainly at an all-time high. Any way you you measure it, any way you slice the pie. Okay, we're looking now at a project that we covered actually, if you remember, in our 100 times moonshot video, specifically part 2. And if you haven't been up to speed with Trodl, you should, well, first of all, go back and check out that video if you haven't. There's a card popping up right about now. But this recent write-up here, I think, deserves your attention by Ruma here from the 7th of April. So Trodl, it's your home to all crypto information. The idea is that it's designed to be an all-in-one, fully interactive platform that helps users in gaining all the necessary crypto investment-related information they need in a single web page. So an information aggregator, if you will. I'm bringing this up because it's IDO, which happened on Mantra DAO at the time of this recording, occurred just a couple of hours ago, and the IDO price was $0.006 or 0.6 cents. So if this is a project perhaps that you've been interested in, it's one that we're interested in, that's for sure. But if it's a project that perhaps you've been following or it's been on your radar ever since our part 2 100 times moonshots video, you should check out this piece by Ruma here. It's pretty in-depth. It'll give you really a full range of information on Trodl. You can check the table of contents here. I would also point you in the direction of this piece here from a couple of days ago, also on altcoinbuzz.io. Trodl taps ZDO over token TRO sale. Zero Swap users can now stake ZEE is the ticker, to acquire TRO. I am saving here what I consider to be some maybe unsavory news for last, or look, at least it just doesn't speak to me. Maybe that will differ for some of you that are watching this, but Origin Protocol here, on April 17th, Jake Paul's first drop, quote, "The future of boxing NFT collection lands on Origin's NFT launchpad. Can't wait." This event will host 69 winners of exclusive fan experiences and memorabilia. Sign up now at nft.jakepaul.com. Click for full details. Not really my cup of tea. You can probably tell by my tone of voice, but if this is your jam, you can check it out. We're on medium.com. Jake Paul, Future of Boxing, NFT collection. No thanks. Look, there are plenty of great use cases for NFTs. I've talked about this at length before, but this is not one of them, just in my opinion. That being said, Mike Novogratz is a little bit more optimistic perhaps than I am when it comes to NFTs of this sort. He's saying that he's bullish on NFTs and that they're here to stay, which I find very interesting. Unfortunately, the Bloomberg article here is not loading. It's a very finicky website, and they seem to be behind a paywall on more and more browsers lately. But Mike Novogratz, he's saying that NFTs, non-fungible tokens, are here to stay. I certainly think people, like Jake Paul and others are going to continue to make a lot of money on NFTs, as will a lot of artists. But eventually that price floor, that support is going to fall out. And then everybody's going to be stranded with multi-million-dollar JPEGs. Just my point of view, but let me know what you guys think about that. Let's end with some optimism, okay? Michael Saylor here, looping back to what we were discussing really at the front end of this video. Bitcoin is making the dollar stronger and is making gold weaker. Bloomberg Crypto Outlook, rising Bitcoin adoption tide. Electricity, internet, Bitcoin, digitalization, dollar dominance. Bitcoin fills the digital reserve asset need in low-yield world. Bitcoin replacing old guard gold in more sudden than gradual moves. Dollar's digital dominance eclipsing China yuan global adoption. And Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is gaining the upper hand over Tesla. So, just a few kind of macro level observations and reasons to suggest that, again, my thesis, I guess, for this video is that we are nowhere near the top of this bull market. We have dozens, if not hundreds of reasons to look forward to the fact that we're going to continue chugging right along and moving upward. If you've not yet voted in our community poll, at the time of this recording, about 3/4 of you are in agreement with me that we are not yet at the top of the crypto bull market. Right now, we sit just below $2 trillion total market cap. I still firmly believe that we're going to get to about 6 or 8 trillion, maybe 10 trillion at the high end. Personally, I'm going to begin divesting my assets at about maybe the $5.5 or $6 trillion mark. Not financial advice, not investment advice. That's just what I'm going to be doing personally. But, by those metrics, the way I see it personally, subjectively, I think we're just about a third of the way there, maybe even a quarter or a fifth of the way there. So we have a long way to go. Let me know your thoughts about that, guys. Comment below, vote in our poll. I'll link to it in the description below. But that about wraps it up for today. Guys, do be sure you're following us on all the regular social media channels. Keep checking back into altcoinbuzz.io for all the latest. Like, subscribe, share, hit the bell to receive notifications if you enjoyed today's video, of course. Best of luck if you do choose to invest, but stay safe out there, everybody. And as always, we do hope to see you again soon in our next video. Take care.